guys, Kitty Sapphire here, and welcome to my live stream. So, first of all, I want to apologize. I'm a little bit late. I was a little bit distracted getting stuff done. I got a commission going on, and I had to take care of that real quick. But so I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, or enjoying your Wednesday. It is Hump Day, so it's in the middle of the week. That means the weekend should be coming up anytime soon. But I know I told you guys that I was going to do a Witcher review this week. Well, due to what recently dropped was a teaser trailer for the upcoming new Sony Marvel movie known as Morbius. A new chapter to the Spider-Man universe. And I don't know about you, but I'm really excited for this. Okay, buckle up, Marvel fans. We're in for a bumpy ride for this one. So I'm really excited about this upcoming new trailer for Morbius. The teaser trailer was very quick, action-packed, for the most part. I wasn't really sure about it at first because me personally, like having Sony doing it, when I'm so accustomed for Marvel to do all their superhero movies, so it's like, I wasn't really sure, but between the Spider-Mans of Homecoming, Far From Home, and even Venom, which was actually a sleeper hit. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm sorry. Just let me know if the music is too loud or anything like that. Just let me know or anything. But with those hits and Venom being sort of like a sleeper hit, nobody really knew how we were going to take it, and the trailer looked okay. I've heard a couple of when it first came out, there was a couple of gripes that people had. Especially the fact when somebody pronounced the symbiote as symbiote, which made me cringe and remind me of the, dare I say it, for any anime fans out there, I deeply apologize bringing this up, but Dragon Ball Z Evolutions, it just gave me that vibe when that scientist said symbiotes, but they changed it and they cleaned it up for the movie, so so I was not necessarily overjoyed when I heard Sony first doing this, but now that I see the trailer, I feel a little bit better, especially the fact that there's been movies prior to this particular movie. So it's like, yeah, so we'll just have to see how it goes, to be honest, regarding this movie here. Now it's been a long time, so for this particular trailer, since I've been a long-time Spider-Man fan, this means a lot. When I was little, of course, if anybody really knows me, I have a list of female superheroes that I admire, that I love, that I looked up to, and inspired me to do what I do as far as, writing stories and comics and stuff like that. But there was also a series of guy superheroes that I do really like as well. And the biggest two superheroes that I loved was basically Spider-Man being my top tier, and Blade being, the second tier for me. And I think with Morbius, which I have to say, one of my favorite characters, of course, Venom would be my very first favorite super villain. Michael Morbius was basically the bridge between Spider-Man and Blade, to come together and do a collaboration. And I love those, especially the 90s cartoon. I know the comic books are a little bit different. You get to do a lot of more stuff. When you're an otaku, for a long period of time, we always hear, "Oh, the manga is better than the anime," and yada yada yada. Listen, I get it. I'm also a manga head as well. I understand when you're doing it in book form, you get to do a whole lot more stuff. With anime or any type of Flash or a fine art based film-like design or animation, it's a little bit hard because you have to deal with time frame and speed between the manga or the writing material versus listen, I get it. So but that's how I was introduced to Michael Morbius when I was little, was through the 90s cartoon of Spider-Man, and I would get really, really excited to see Spider-Man and Blade work side by side, especially the fact that they were totally polar opposites. That Blade was very serious and very dark, and he took pleasure in his work, but it was all seriousness. And then Spider-Man is the type of person that is, he loves his work. He likes being Spider-Man, even though he does have a little bit doubts throughout the comic book about his capabilities. He still has some kind of semblance of enjoyment, as well as sort of cracking jokes every so often while fighting the villain. So, just completely different, opposite ways of handling stuff, and two different styles of heroing. So it's like, it's really nice. It really is. So with that, and me getting out all my fangirling stuff regarding the universe that's being built here, let's get on with the trailer. So the notes that I got for it, first of all, I love the music choice that they actually had for the trailer. I do like classical. I love when they take certain songs. Well, if you guys didn't know from the trailer, that is from, based on my nose, it's from Beethoven's song Für Else, or Für Alice. I'm sorry if my German is off. If I butcher the name, I deeply apologize. I'm sorry about that. But Für Alice is the song. Often heard as, or some people would say, oh, that's a Beethoven Christmas song. Not so much. It's like an all-around song, but a lot of people, including myself, might have heard that particular melody going on for the first time during Christmas time. But I love how they take certain songs that usually have a soft, a calming, or a more of a positive energy, and they kind of convert it into, depending on switching the tone of the song or switching the style of the song to something to sound more dark and menacing. Or, similar to how they did with Maleficent when they did Once Upon a Dream. It was really dark and sort of like a haunting feel. So it's like, yeah. So I have to say kudos for giving it such an accent. Instead of a calm tone, it gave a sense of uneasiness and lead to a more sort of like darker realm. Yeah. I'm curious how they're going to do Michael Morbius actually turning into a vampire, because I believe, based on the comic books, and in the comic book version of Michael Morbius, he used a series of studying vampire bat blood and electroshocks and to cure himself, which turned him into a vampire. In the 90s Spider-Man superheroes, the animated series, I believe it was not only bat radiation, but also a little bit of Spider-Man's blood. And I guess Michael Morbius was studying the blood in hopes to help him in his own. And he kind of combined it with vampire bat blood, and then also a ray of radiation, which basically, well, Bob's your uncle, turned him into a vampire. I wonder how they're going to do that, which particular avenue they're going to go with regarding that. Now, me personally, there were a lot of more Easter eggs that I just recently come to find who's playing who throughout the movie, like which we'll get to later on in this live stream. But it's like it's just interesting how they're going to put all these things together. So nice to see that the person who is now, you guys might not know who I'm talking about in the trailer, Michael Morbius, as an adult, is basically sitting in front of his old church, his old school, and basically talking to an adult friend. It's the actor who played Moriarty. I can't remember his name, or I can't remember Michael Morbius's best friend at the time. His name kind of escapes me a little bit, but it seems like the actor who plays Moriarty in the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes. It's nice to see him still. I like when I see recognizable actors and they're still getting work, and it's just nice. It's just nice. So it's nice to see him. I think I think he's supposed to represent sort of like Michael Morbius's conscience as his best friend. Like I said, I don't remember his best friend's name. It escapes me, so I deeply apologize for that. Also, a side note. Oh yeah, I talked about that already. I love how they're borrowing certain aspects of horror elements, especially the fact that in the Marvel universe they're starting to go in that direction, especially with the sequel for Doctor Strange being being more of the horror oriented. I think it was supposed to be the Worlds of Madness of some sort. They're going for more of a horror angle, and then on top of that they have Blade, Mahershala Ali. They just announced him as the new Blade, so we're going to see a lot more horror elements in this, so it's going to be very, very interesting. Now I'm going to go for the Easter eggs, and boy is there a lot of them. Well, first of all, a lot of the when they showed some of Michael Morbius's powers, such as echolocation, and sort of like super speed, it reminded me a lot of a nod to Nightcrawler with him teleporting, sort of like this shadowy feel. I always like that effect, to be honest, when you're transporting, or those who can manipulate like shadows type effect. It looks a lot more cleaner in this version compared to the early X-Men movies back in the day, so it was really nice to see that, and especially shadows and darkness and stuff like that is often associated with vampires, so it should be welcoming, and if not right at home. Even though I have to say a lot of people were making fun of the trailer regarding the bat sequences, a lot of them are comparing it to Batman. Yeah, sure, I understand. It's funny. It's nice to poke fun of that idea. I kind of see what you guys are saying with the swirling of the bats, and it seemed like I don't know if he has the capability to control them, like any traditional old school vampire. Even though he is not a traditional vampire, he's not necessarily cultivated by magic. He is done specifically a creature, if not a monster of science, to be specific. But going back to what I was saying about the Easter eggs, when in the trailer we get to see a couple of cops. I didn't realize this, but Tyrese is actually going to be in the film as well, and apparently he is some sort of cop that is aware of the supernatural. Again, another name that escapes me. I'm just like terrible with names today. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. But yeah, he's often appeared in several of Michael Morbius's comic books, where besides being hunted down by Blade, other people that are much more aware of the supernatural actually makes a guest appearance. Also, one of the actors who play one of the doctors of Doctor Who, again, I can't remember the name, based on certain bits of information, to come to find that he might be the true antagonist of the actual movie, as Mr. Crown, or Sir Crown, or a vampire adversary by the name of Hunger, which basically used the similar formula that Michael Morbius came up with, and basically tore all over the place and caused madness and mayhem in the city of New York. No offense, guys, but come on, can you just leave New York alone for a little bit? Like, seriously, there's other places in the United States that you could just basically go and bother, other cities. I don't know. Anyway, besides the point. Another Easter egg was, and this one was interesting. You see Stephen Leto, Stephen Leto or Morbius walking down the street with an orange jumpsuit, and I think he's changing, like taking off his top and what have you, to kind of change into another shirt. For some reason, well, probably trying not to attract as much attention with that orange jumpsuit. But there is a picture of Spider-Man. Hey Justin, how are you? Nope, they're only in New York. Yeah, I know. Hey, it doesn't hurt to just ask, maybe. It just doesn't hurt to ask for, maybe can you just take the fight somewhere else? I don't know. Yes. Anyway, but going back to what I was saying, while Jay Leto or Morbius is basically walking down the street, you see a poster or a mural of Spider-Man with the tag sprawled across, says murderer. So I'm assuming this is basically, well, I'm guessing, not assuming, I'm sorry, I'm guessing that this movie takes place after Spider-Man in Far From Home, when he was basically framed for Mysterio's murder. And I think that's really cool that now he's gonna have all these adversaries coming up to him, including like coming after him, as well as like the police for a murder that he didn't commit. And I hope that I do hope that Spider-Man eventually gets his name cleared, because it's totally and utterly unfair. It's technically it's not his fault. He tried to save the guy, but of course he was a bad guy, and somehow he basically he knows how to manipulate illusions, and well, what are you gonna do? So sprawling out murderer, which was kind of cool, but then I actually took a look at it, and I know a couple of other people might have caught this as well, that it looks similar to the Tobey Maguire version of Spider-Man. So I don't know if they're actually going to do Tom Holland's. It would be nice, because I would also love to see Tom Holland get his hands dirty with his own rogues gallery of dealing with Morbius and also Venom. Definitely Venom. I would love to have Tom Holland Spider-Man fight Venom. I understand a lot of people are a little uneasy with that idea because of the fact that Sony has their own plans and how they organize their characters versus what we're accustomed to with Marvel. But I would say just give it a chance, just to see how it comes out to be. If it doesn't turn out well, then maybe it wasn't a good idea. It's just that speculations, it can also drive you mad at times. So you can, it's fun to guess and theorize, but at the same time, don't want to get yourself too crazy about it or too involved in it. Another thing that basically points to Spider-Man Tom Holland being incorporated in this universe was towards the end of the trailer, where you see Mr. Tomb, who or Michael Keaton, who played the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming, and he looks like he's still in the prison uniform. He's still wearing white, and he actually makes sort of like a pun, if not a little joke, at Michael Morbius while he's walking around in his dark hoodie. So it's like, maybe they're trying to piece two things together, and it's just interesting. Also, the fact with the same Sam Raimi version of Spider-Man, it might be also a little bit of a mistake. Especially the fact that, similar to the trailer in Venom, where they had symbiote and they cleaned it up for symbiote. They changed it before the actual movie finally came out. So maybe that is just like a little clip mistake or something of that nature. I don't know, but I'm really excited to look for interested in this. If it's not for the superhero aspect, I would give it a chance as a vampire movie, because Lord knows we don't have enough of those that are basically in my opinion, worthy vampire films. I hate to say it, I'm sorry. I'm not a big fan of Twilight. If you guys know by now, I'm not a big fan of Twilight. I feel it really, really obscured and kind of warped the idea of what a vampire was. You know, it's just my opinion, but this is just really exciting, and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm hoping there's more trailers later on in the month. And I'm wondering, I'm hoping, I don't know, I I just hope that, things will turn out well, because I would really like this. And also, oh yeah, last point, John Leto. I feel, Mr. Leto. I can't remember his name. John Leto. I feel really bad. Um, no, I don't feel. No, I'm not feeling the sparkly vampire. Sorry. I do like the fact that they had unique traits to each of the vampires, but the sparkling portion, and also the fact that the movie was so boring. The stories were so boring. I couldn't. I tried to give it a chance. I watched Twilight and New Moon, and it was bad. It was bad. Especially the fact that they removed a lot of aspects of the vampire that, especially there's supposed to be elements of corruption, human corruption, and allure and seduction and corruption of the human, sort of like the positives of the human condition, that can go either way. And I feel that with that, the vampire, they were just too perfect. And like anything, even the most imperfect things can be beautiful. And I felt it didn't have those components, so it didn't rub me the right way. And it's just I didn't care for it too much. But going back to what I say, John, I can't remember it. I'm sorry. I'm terrible with names. Oh my goodness. Let me make sure I get this at least one name right, please. Okay. Please. Okay, Jared Leto. Right. Thank goodness. I'm sorry about that, guys. But Jared Leto. I really wish that this will be his movie, because I feel really bad that as soon as that he did the Joker for what is it, for Suicide Squad, it people came down on him really hard. It was, some of the jokes are really funny, but at the same time, um he is a good actor overall. It's just one particular acting role. And then on top of that, some people make it sound like the movie Suicide Squad was a really good movie and he was the only one that messed it up. No, I just feel that there was a lot of problems with the movie. There were some people that really did a good job. Like I loved Will Smith's adaptation of Deadshot, and I love Robbie Margot's version of her version of Harley Quinn. But, and, even Captain Boomerang had me giggling from time to time. And also, what is it? Oh goodness. I can't, El Diablo was also very interesting. They didn't even use Killer Croc that well in that movie. And then also the fact that they had the same people who did the trailer, who did the movie, that, if they have no experience of doing a full-length movie and they're only solely good at doing the trailer, there's going to be a lot of conflicts and problems. The writing was also really, not so stellar either. So to say it was Jared Leto, fault, no, I would have to say, his Joker is a required taste. It's not my thing, but I will not say that Jared Leto is a bad actor. Not by a long shot. There's a lot of worse people out there that they think they can act and they just can't. But or they don't, or they don't feel the role or what have you. So I really hope that Jared Leto, this is the role that really, helps him out. Because I feel bad for some of these actors and some of the, because as an artist, it's just hard to try to appease everyone. You're not going to. It's just not possible. but you know, you try your best and you're putting yourself out there, and it's tough. It's tough. So yeah, so that's all I have to say about Morbius, the teaser trailer that recently dropped. I'm going to also a little tad of PS announcement here. I will still be doing The Witcher, but I think I'm going to change the schedule a little bit because The Witcher is a lot longer of a series, and I want to do an extensive uh, uh, review on that particular series because I really did like it, and there's just seems to be a lot of stuff to go through and I wanted to talk about. So to do it within a week's time is not going to happen. However, so I'm going to basically do a little switcheroony here. I'm going to do the Dracula review, either if not this week, because this week actually a lot of things have happened this week. Either this coming Saturday as a live, this coming Friday as a live stream, or I'm going to do it next week, possibly Wednesday. And I'll give you guys a full extent of BBC's Dracula for Netflix. And then towards the end of the month, I will do a full extent review for Witcher. All right. So that's it from your neighborhood kitty Sapphire, your neighborhood Neko. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.